Hey, what's going on, guys? Appreciate you stopping by and welcome to the channel if this is your first time. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, where it sits as of recent, as well as what's going on in the Middle East between the United States and Iran and what may be happening in the future. Obviously, the situation between the United States and Iran remains extremely volatile, uncertain, and unpredictable. That's probably to say the least. The last several days, the United States has been bombing Iran relentlessly, and Iran has been responding by launching missiles into nearby countries, neighbors, trying to hit American assets with some success, reportedly. You just never know what to believe in the news anymore. So the strait is basically closed. I had heard something like yesterday 6 ships got through or something. It's a very small amount and compared to normal times. So the strait is basically closed again, and the United States Strategic Petroleum Reserve, the SPR, is dropping. Last report, there's a real-time inventory system that reports out on a weekly basis. It was down to 316 million barrels, which is, again, the lowest level in nearly 50 years. And it is approaching a level that is looked at as minimum. It cannot go down to zero. That would be catastrophic for the entire system of the reserve. You have to research that. I'm no expert on the reserve, but that's my understanding, is generally accepted that it's getting very, very low. So what's going to happen now? And that's the big question. And we have seen gas at the pumps tick up a little bit over the last 2 weeks. And a lot of the dealings that the United States is having using the SPR, as well as dealing with some of our other suppliers, has created a situation where the gas prices have remained lower than the all-time high, but certainly much higher than where they once were. I suspect, and the experts believe, that we are going to see the SPR drop to a minimal level, and then we're going to run into shortages. What was predicted back in May by many experts was that we were going to run out of oil. We were going to have shortages. We would see bags placed on pumps at the gas stations, and we were going to have some severe issues in the month of July. Even President Trump had mentioned when the MOU was signed and the agreement was signed with Iran, well, this is a really good thing that this happened, because, well, we weren't doing too good. In about 4 weeks, we were going to be in a tough situation. He said that. Well, now the MOU has basically disintegrated, and we've returned to fighting and a lack of oil flowing through the strait. So I think that 4-week timeline just started up again, give or take. And what does that mean for us? I think it means higher gas prices and the potential for shortages. Obviously, fuel companies, petroleum companies are going to leave no stone left unturned in trying to deal with this situation. They're going to try to figure out ways to keep supply up. The current U.S. administration is going to do the same thing. They are going to do what they can to try to minimize the impact on the American populace. And why would they do that? Well, we have elections coming up. And if we continue to have very high gas prices, continued inflation, which I think is going to happen regardless, it could be devastating at uh, the voting booth for those that are currently responsible for what is happening. So the one country that seems to be doing pretty well is China. And that's an interesting situation I was not aware of until recently, that China, back when it looked like something was going to happen between the United States and Iran, and China gets a decent amount of their petroleum from Iran, they had their reserves absolutely maxed out. They were full. And they have huge reserves. Very smart of them. And when the strait closed, I saw and heard many pundits out there saying China's going to be upset at this. It's going to be devastating to the Chinese economy. And they've sat back and pretty much just sailed right through this. And they've been using some of their reserves, which has actually helped out the global petroleum market, because they didn't go out there and bid against other countries for whatever supply there was available. Now, is that going to last? Maybe for some time. Who knows what they're going to do? But if they start bidding from a position of strength, that is going to boost price up even higher. So for Joe Nobody like me, and the rest of y'all that are out there, just everyday citizens of the United States, going to work, trying to provide for their family, just doing what we can, we absolutely could be facing elevated fuel prices and elevated everything else, because almost everything gets shipped, and the transportation cost due to fuel is going to go up. So more of the same. So what do we do about that? Well, there's nothing that we can do to control what's going on in the Middle East. But what we can do is prepare as much as we can, to the best of our ability. If you have the finances and there are things that you use on a regular basis, it could be food, it could be medical related, it could be hygiene and sanitation supplies. That's soap, shampoo, dishwashing detergent, laundry detergent. All those things you could purchase now when it's less expensive than we know it will be later. So if you can purchase it now, you're going to get more for your money compared to later. Now, I've seen several comments, and I have failed to mention this up till now because I just thought it was common sense, but I think it's worth pointing out that something else we can do is change habits. If you're somebody that goes through the drive-through twice a day for breakfast in the morning and then lunch in the afternoon, and you're spending, $10, $12, $14 twice a day, stop doing that. Buy a dozen eggs, get some English muffins, make your own breakfast sandwiches, much cheaper. And basically look at all your expenses and try to cut expenses. That's almost like giving yourself a raise, which can help weather these inflationary storms that we're having. So it's just a thought. It's certainly common sense, but I think it's worth pointing out, as has been done in the comment section numerous times. So we continue to live in a world that is absolutely uncertain. Who knows what's going to happen next? And all I can say is good luck. Try to prepare the best you can. And I appreciate you guys stopping by. We've had a lot of new subscribers, a lot of comments, really fantastic comments. That's something I love, the community and how it's developing here. So that's it. Comment below any thoughts, suggestions, any feelings that you have as to what's going to be happening in the near or distant future. And you guys stay safe. Take care. We'll see you next time.
So I ran from the cities and the noise and lies, found a piece of ground under open skies, hands in the dirt, sweat on my shirt, learning what living's really worth. While crooked men shake hands in rooms, selling souls to corporate suits. Society's sick, but I found the cure. A back road life, honest and pure. They can keep their throne and their golden news. This life out here's my modern exodus. I traded screens for a sunrise, calloused palms, blisters pride, planted seeds where hope was.